Hello and welcome to Ask GC Anything. You ask us anything and we will answer it. Or at least we'll try to. In fact, we'll probably just pick the questions that we feel like we can answer. But anyway, let's crack on.
Yeah, actually on that side, the first question is an interesting one and we couldn't answer it, so we had to ask one of our favourite pros.
That's a good point.
Craig Thurwell asks, I commute 30 miles a day in all weathers and this winter I've decided to grow a beard, although it's similar to Dan's but more masculine and slightly thicker. Will it keep me warmer and is it worth his while in terms of aerodynamics?
Yeah, well, as Tom said, we had to ask someone for help on this. So we turned to the most bearded pro cyclist we know of, and that is Dan Craven. Coincidentally, a man who also doesn't like the cold.
That was grotty.
And he said that actually, yes, his beard does keep him warmer. And as far as he knows, there is no aero disadvantage to being more hirsute. So there you go, Craig. Grow a beard if you can.
What's wrong with beards?
All right, Colin, next up. We've got this interesting one from Brian Moore. How much power does it save when you slam your stem versus having it up a couple of centimetres? That's a tough one. Basically, I think you should try and separate your idea of your stem as being the governing factor in terms of going fast or not. Because actually all your stem does is facilitates you in getting into your optimum aero position, wouldn't you say?
It does, absolutely. And if you're after some data on position and the benefits of it, Matt and yourself put 3 factors to the test in this video right here. Look how, well, you don't look aero there actually.
That's my non-aero position.
You're not aero. That's Matt's aero position.
Oh, look at that. I wonder if he'd gone faster if his stem was lower.
So we thought we'd see how much difference it makes to your speed when we change 3 common things on our road bikes.
Firstly, and completely for free, what happens when you change your body position?
And secondly, and quite inexpensively, what happens to your speed when you make your helmet and your clothing more aero?
Yeah, and then finally, with a bit more investment, what about your wheels? What is the difference between shallow and deep section wheels? Okay, next up we've got a very good question from Metal Martin. He said, he's got a bit of a dilemma. When he comes back from a wet and cold ride, does he first clean his bike and look after that, or does he first have a shower and look after himself? That is a dilemma, Tom.
It is quite a dilemma, especially if you're really cold and wet and the first thing you want to do is jump in a warm shower. But what I would say is throw off your wet cycling jacket, get a kind of warm old coat on, throw a hat on and get out and clean your bike. Because if I got warm, dry and clean, there's no way I'd ever go out and clean my bike again. No,
I would never clean my bike if I've already had a shower. So yeah, there you go, that's our answer. But if you wanted some tips, because I know you said that you, particularly after cyclocross, tips on actually cleaning your bike quickly and efficiently, Tom, check him out there with 2 sponges, shot a banging video about how to clean muddy cross bikes. Check it out.
Sai is saying it's a banging video because that's his bike that he got to ride home clean that day.
Yeah, I've got a dirty bike downstairs, Tom. Do you want to do another video?
The logic behind starting at the top of your bike when you clean it is that the water drips down and kind of loosens the dirt off on the lower half of the bike. Not worried about getting it sparkly clean right now, just worried about shifting the majority of the dried on dirt.
Okay, quick fire question time now. You ready, Tom? We're going to be quick.
Ready. I'm very quick.
Okay, first up, El Oscillatore said, is it okay to take local KOMs when the wind is in your favour? Without doubt, yeah, that's the best time to take local KOMs. But interesting little bit of information for you here. If you check out spinloose.co.uk, you can input the URL of your favourite Strava segment, and it will tell you the wind direction and the wind strength for every person in the top 20, and that is quite interesting. Anyway, so there you go. There's a little tidbit for you.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
Good factoid.
Have a look at Dan Lloyd's KOMs and see what the wind direction was.
It doesn't tell you that he was in the middle of a peloton at the time.
Swedish House FIFA. Lose weight or gain power?
Both.
Both.
Although technically, actually, gaining power makes you go faster than losing a little bit of weight. So apparently, it's if you could only do one, gaining more power is better than losing weight.
I'd definitely gain sprint power as well, so I could, you know, win sprints to signs, and I could never sprint, so it should probably be what I worked on.
Yeah, all right, Luke Patton, do any of you have experience in Criterium racing? If you do you have any advice on preparing for a race? Yeah, we've done our fair share of crits, haven't we, Tom?
Yeah, I've hung around at the back of a few crits. What about you? You've been at the front of some.
Yeah, I've done all right in a few crits. Anyway, the best way to prepare for crits is actually to do crits, isn't it? Yeah, you can never really replicate it in training. You've got to just go out there and just get stuck in. Pin a number on your back, get experience, and it's also probably the best training, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. We used to have that really long series of crits in the summer here, and even if you weren't really into crits in the first couple of weeks, by week 4 or 5, you could turn up and just ride a crit like that.
Yeah, there you go then. Okay, Sam Green. Ooh, that's a good one.
Would you guys ever trust a Chinese carbon frame? I'm not sure. He says he hears most of frames come out of 4 factories in China.
Yeah, well, it's quite an interesting question, that. Basically, yeah, I would trust a Chinese carbon frame because, as you say, a lot of the best bikes in the world come out of Chinese carbon factories. But I think what you're probably referring to is unbranded carbon frames that you don't know where they come from. And in those cases, I would never, ever trust one because you literally do not know who's made it, how they've made it. And the fact is, it will not have come out of one of those 4 factories that you talk about because those factories have got incredibly tight security tolerances and they don't flog frames out the back door. So yeah, I would never trust one.
Yeah, and you know, best case with an unbranded frame, if you try and trace the eBay seller within 6 months because of a tiny crack or warranty issue that hasn't hurt you, you're probably not going to hear back.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a nightmare in itself, so think what the worst case could be.
I've seen counterfeit carbon in test labs and it is not pretty. And it's also not very effective. Right, okay then. Sander goes. I love GCN and GMBN videos, collaborations. It does look like there's some friendly competition going on, he says. Well, there is. He reckons that cyclocross would be the perfect mashup and we should take them on. What do you reckon, Tom?
I think we should.
You reckon?
Yeah. Me and Matt?
Sure.
You and Matt?
Yeah.
Matt maybe in the pits? No,
To be
not
fair,
in the pits either.
No. Cyclocross is more of a roadie or a cross-country mountain bike thing, isn't it? So it probably wouldn't be very fair on them. So we should probably do it.
There we have the reason. I think that'd be good fun.
Yeah, it would be good fun. All right, let's do it.
Next question is a bike setup question. It's from Tim Hammond, who's noticed that a lot of chain sets in the Mountain Bike World Cup just have one chainring and no front mech. And he's wondering if this is something we'll ever see on road bikes, especially as road bikes are going to have disc brakes soon as well.
That's right. Well, the answer is kind of going on behind us now. There is already that system available on road bikes, particularly popular on cross bikes, isn't it? It's called the SRAM One By system, and it borrows an awful lot of technology from their mountain bike group sets. Not seen it in the Pro Peloton yet on the road, have we?
No, I don't think we have at all. Not even in time trials.
No, but triathletes use it, apparently because they get confused by front derailleurs, but that may or may not be true. Anyway, if you want to know more about it, then check out this video behind us where Neil Rogers takes you through the SRAM One By group set that was launched 18 months ago, perhaps?
Roughly 18 months ago. And there's JPOW, GCN's friend.
Oh yeah. Unleashing a wattage bazooka. Gently.
I mean, I think it's a very simple system, and I think that the thing that's cool about One By altogether is that, you know, I'm a cyclocross racer, but I primarily train on the road. I motor pace with this system. I'm doing off-road work, and on my home bike, I use a 46 1132. I've had a lot of success with all of those applications. I think it's a really nice way to kind of bring the simplicity and all of the positive things that CX1 had and bring it over to the roadside and let everyone else enjoy that as well.
Right, now if you can tear your eyes away from that really rather lovely t-shirt in that video in the background, you will not see sweat patches in that video, I can guarantee it. No, seriously, Tom, you won't. We've got a great question from Will McCall. He's thinking about changing to tubeless. Can you advise on the pros and cons?
I can. For me, the pros are definitely, they're pretty much immune to punctures from things like thorns and stuff like that because you run sealant in. They don't have an inner tube, so they're also pretty much immune to pinch punches. But one of the biggest cons is if you do actually puncture them, it's going to be really difficult to replace. Some of them are made from much thicker rubber with much thicker beads, so it might be that you're stuck on the side of the road and can't even get the tyre off.
Yeah, there is that concern that when you labour to get it on in your workshop or your garage or whatever, you think, well, if I am at the side of the road, I'm going to be a bit screwed. But there are techniques. So if you check out this video with the pink t-shirt in it, then I actually didn't use tyre levers to get that on. So that is how to set up road tubeless, and it should hopefully demystify the process. Now, when you've only got a couple of inches of bead left to fit on the rim, it's time to add your sealant. Now, some tyre manufacturers say that you don't need to add sealant for their road tubeless systems, but to me, this seems to be missing the point, really. Just a few grams of sealant is actually going to give you really, really great puncture protection from sharp objects. If you don't have it, all you've got with tubeless is protection from pinch flats, which is only half the problem. So, regardless of your tyre manufacturer, I'd say add a bit of sealant to it. It should tell you on the bottle of your sealant how much to add. In this case, it stands, it's 2 ounces and about 60 mil.
Next question comes in from Justin Savord, who says, hey guys, I've been waiting for a video on the effects of crank length while climbing at a sustained rate. Crank length seems to be a topic of conversation as of late, but the only videos I can find are related to maximum power rather than sustained power.
Yeah, well, probably need to look a little bit harder, Justin, because we've got one actually. Now, admittedly, we didn't go up hills at steady state, but we did do steady state riding on a turbo trainer indoors. And the results are pretty interesting actually. I won't spoil them for you, just check it out.
The theory goes that a shorter rider would benefit from a shorter crank because they have smaller levers, so legs, and they'd be more efficient on the shorter crank and crucially more comfortable. And then at the other end of the spectrum, a taller rider would get more out of a longer crank. There is a much greater variation in crank length though. These SRAM red ones are available right through from 162.5 millimeters all the way up to 177.5 millimeters. But the fact remains, there is no way of knowing which crank length you should actually use.
Right, that is pretty much the end of Ask GCN Anything for this week, I'm afraid. We've got time for one last question. This is from Michael McDermott, who has asked, how do I correctly fill out an order form when choosing delivery options, bulk buying custom Camelback bottles? He's asking for a friend. I wonder which friend that is, Tom. What do you think? Mr. Lloyd, Mr. Stevens, Mr. Last?
Yeah, Mr. Lloyd, possibly. I'm afraid I haven't got a clue.
No, I totally don't know what you're talking about. Anyway. Hashtag Bottlegate. They're on their way. Don't panic. Just very slowly via the Pacific. But anyway, never mind. Right, that is the end. Remember, if you want to ask any questions on Ask GCN in future, then stick them in the comment section down below this one, or submit it on any form of social media with the hashtag TalkBack.
Absolutely. And for more GCN content, click right there to check out Keith Bontrager's top 4 cycling innovations. And click down there to take a look around the Saris factory with Simon.
Yeah, and make sure you subscribe to GCN before leaving this video. To do that, just click on the globe and give us a thumbs up and a like as well for this video if you liked it.